Today is September the 11th, 2022. My name is Jonathan Jones. It's my pleasure and privilege to be your host and moderator for the afternoon. And I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you to this presentation for the afternoon. I'm going to be interviewing Dr. Kadar Prasad. But to set our discussion up, I'd like to lay the foundation for our discussion by, first of all, just saying a few things with regard to the nature of our discussion, the purpose of this discussion, the purpose of meetings like this. And we have to try to make clear that, when we talk to individuals and professionals and people of the caliber of Dr. Prasad, please understand that meetings like this are not intended to be a substitute for a visit to your primary healthcare physician. You will be hearing suggestions and possibly even some advice. I'm not a medical doctor. So please don't do anything I say just because I say it. I strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. You'll even hear testimonials. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. So results are atypical. Engage Global, myself, Dr. Prasad, none of the individuals responsible for this presentation today are trying to make any claims that any nutritional supplement will treat or cure any disease. Again, we strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust when making decisions about your health and well-being. This information is presented for information and education purposes only. Okay, so now if you have any questions about that, I'm going to be repeating that a little later on in our discussion as well, so no one gets confused, because the FDA is not evaluating any of these comments, so we have to make sure that you fully understand that. However, be that as it may, I'm a researcher, and I've been determined for decades now to provide information that I find, that my colleagues find. I'm very closely associated with nutritionists, with medical doctors, oncologists, product formulators, and scientists and other researchers. And any information that I gather up that I believe will be of value to my clients and folks like you, I'm happy to pass it on and love to just share it with you, because I do believe that good health is a choice. I don't think we have to be a victim of circumstance. And right now, the circumstance is not a good one. Some of the things that we're being subjected to today, I believe, is simply not fair. So when Dr. Prasad and I discussed this matter today, he chose this micronutrients, diet, and heart health. Okay, so now you're hearing the path or the direction that we're going in today is specifically because the scientist who has written books on the matter feels that this is the direction that we should go in. But to lay the foundation, here's what I'd like to pass on to you. I went to the CDC's website, public information. So this is not something that anyone could have conjured up, but it's right there on the CDC's website. You can go there yourself, cdc.gov. And here's what it said about heart disease. It's a serious matter. And this is just the general information about it. Leading cause of death for men and women. Now, this matter of heart disease has been studied now for more than 100 years. There's a research study that's been going on in Framingham, Massachusetts for about 120 years now. They've been studying heart disease for more than 120 years, and still it's the #1 cause of death today. One person dies every 36 seconds in the United States from cardiovascular disease. About 695,000 people in the United States die from heart disease each year. That's 1 in every 4 deaths. 1 out of every 4 deaths in the United States is from heart disease. That's really sad. Every year, about 800,000 people in the United States have a heart attack. That's very sad. I don't like presenting statistics like this, but it helps put things into context and helps you to appreciate why it is that we're having a discussion like this. Before I go on to talk about these risk factors, I want to show you something that I did a quick search on, because a lot of the information that even the CDC draws on comes from the government's library of published medical publication. It's called PubMed. So just before we had this discussion now, I didn't have the time to make it into a slide. I just thought I'd just show it to you real quick. I went to PubMed and I did a search. I just put in SARS CoV2 and heart. You see the search expression right there at the top of the page? And if you're looking at it and you're looking at it carefully, I can't draw on the screen right now, I apologize. But you'll see, let me see if I can get my mouse over here. You'll see that 7,820 results came up. So there's nearly 8,000 documents on between SARS-CoV-2 and the heart. So now the screens I just showed you a moment ago showed you that heart disease was already a bad thing. It was already a serious problem before we had the discussion about SARS, but now there's nearly 8,000 documents on it. Just on the first page alone, I found about 5 or 6 alarming topics. We're not going to dive into any of these topics, but just take a look. The first one I checked, SARS-CoV-2 infects and induces cytotoxic effects in human cardiomyocytes. Now, at some point in our discussion, I'm going to ask Dr. Nkuzi what are the myocytes. He'll be able to explain it to us exactly how the immune system is involved in that. But SARS-CoV-2 infects and induces cytotoxic effects of human cardiomyocytes. The next one down, SARS-CoV-2 cardiac involvement in young competitive athletes. That's disturbing and alarming to me, especially last month, Canada reported 5 healthy doctors, one of them that was a triathlete, that simply dropped dead from a cardiovascular event. And then another one, emergence of an early SARS-CoV-2 epidemic in the United States. And folks, the list just goes on and on. Here's the last one I checked, number 10 on the bottom of the list on this first page of 8,000 responses from PubMed. The ACE2 expression in human heart indicates new potential mechanism of heart injury among patients infected with SARS-CoV-2. Now, if you sat down and read those documents, there's so much science there that most of us, it would be far over our head, including mine. It takes a long time for me to even begin to drill down and understand what what's being discussed there and what exactly it means. But to try to get to the point a little bit quicker, I take time to interview someone like Dr. Prasad and see if we can't connect the dots a little bit so that we can kind of understand, is there a correlation between SARS-CoV-2 and the heart? And forget about even the worst part of it. What is it that we can do as far as introducing micronutrients and good diet and other factors into our lives that could potentially help us to not be part of this growing statistic of bad news? There's a lot of bad news that's popping up right now. Look at the risk factors for coronary artery disease: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, family history of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and being overweight. That describes probably 90% of the United States right now. These are the risk factors. So if you see yourself on this list someplace, pay attention. If you're concerned about SARS-CoV-2, pay attention. If you know someone who should be, it's not too late to give them a call, to get them onto this discussion. Here's an interesting statistic that popped up about a year or so ago. Not exercising, no, this actually goes back about 5 years. Not exercising is worse than being a diabetic smoker. You have a lower chance of mortality, higher chance of living longer being a diabetic smoker than not exercising. And you just saw on the previous slide that smoking is one of the risk factors. Diabetes is a risk factor. Not exercising should be on the same list right here. In fact, it's a higher risk than being a diabetic smoker, should be on the same list. So we encourage you folks, get out there and walk. If I never have a chance to say anything else during this entire discussion, if you don't take anything away, even if you do not decide to make a purchase of Micro Daily or add anything to your diet, please start walking. 7,000 steps a day decreases mortality by 70%, folks. It's a single piece of information I'd like to pass on to every single person here. Eating right makes a difference. Dr. Prasad is going to be having the discussion with us and telling us how food can have a big impact on our cardiovascular health. Be aware that as part of what we will hear from Dr. Prasad, the toxins that's being introduced into the food chain, introduced into our diet, also can be affected and in fact neutralized potentially by some of what we add to our diet, what we do to improve our health. And that brings us to the person that we really want to talk to, the person we really want to hear from. But let me just tell you who this man is. Dr. Kadar Prasad. Now, it says on this list that he's a renowned scientist and researcher, and that really is just it's an understatement. He's a world-renowned scientist and researcher, member of the British Royal Academy of Medicine, the world's first radiation biology PhD, the first in the world. It was a 7-year program in Colorado. He finished it in 3.5 years. Just knock it out, get it out of the way. He's been published more than 250 times. So as far as scientists are concerned, he's come up with more than 250 different things that other brilliant scientists of his caliber hadn't quite thought of yet. 2 of them that, for me, made a major impression on me. This is the gentleman who figured out that vitamin E succinate, mind you, I had no idea that there was more than one type of vitamin E. Dr. Prasad did. And of the different types of vitamin E, he's the one who figured out that it was vitamin E succinate that happens to be cytotoxic to cancer cells. He also figured, well, we won't go into all the different things that he's figured out, but that's important because that's one of the components that's in the formula that he has unleashed on the world at the request of the United States government. Dr. Prasad has authored more than 31 books. In fact, his 32nd book is one called Dementia, Memory Loss. So if you have not had a chance to see that book, I would highly recommend that you go on Amazon and search for that book. It's amazing. He even bothers to tell you dosages and how much micronutrients you might want to consider and other things you want to put into your diet that could potentially slow down the onset of early onset of dementia, which, by the way, later in this month, we're going to be talking about the impact of SARS CoV2 and how it is contributing to early onset dementia. But that's just one of the books that Dr. Prasad has written. And another one of the books that Dr. Prasad has written is this one, which brings us really right into our subject matter, is this whole matter of fighting heart disease with vitamins and antioxidants. So folks, it's my pleasure and my privilege to introduce to you now and into our discussion, Dr. Kadar Prasad. Dr. Prasad, thank you very much again, sir, for being willing to take time out of your busy schedule to join us in a discussion like this on a Sunday afternoon.
Thank you, Jonathan, for inviting me. It is always a great pleasure to have a discussion with you and your audience. And I'm happy that many people are interested on this issue and should be. And you presented very nicely about the issue that we are facing with respect to heart disease. Another risk factor is the obesity, which is due to the lack of exercise and poor diet. So you can add obesity is another very important contributor to heart disease.
So folks really do need to pay attention to the fact that lifestyle, social choices, all of those things put us in a higher category, at greater risk of cardiovascular disease.
Yeah. And so now the question, it is so, you gave some statistics, which is very disturbing statistics, and the annual cost of this treating the disease, societal cost, and plus personal cost is not mentioned, but the societal cost or national cost is $229 billion per year.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, in 2020, actually, it is a $229 billion that the government pays it. Out-of-pocket expense is different issue. And you have emotional family problem. So it is very important that we decide to think about it, how to reduce the heart disease. And it is not that when you are in 50 or 60, the heart disease can occur, like you mentioned, one of those. Athlete, many times athlete do it, and I will explain it, what might be contributing those kind of things. Retired NFL player had all kind of a heart issue, brain issue, and so on. So the question would be always asked that why this happens. They were doing more than more than moderate exercise.
Yes.
Still, they have a problem, but there is reason for that. That's why it is important to emphasize, like Jonathan, you emphasized that 7,000 steps is a very reasonable one, not all in one time, but during daytime. My wife does 10,000, but I can't catch up with her because of I have some back issue, and I'm older than her too. So I think this is a very good suggestion as far as the moderate exercise is concerned. So first, let us see why people are getting a heart disease from a diverse agent, from diverse group of people are having it. Athlete and COVID survivor, normal population, obese people. We can't do anything about the family history because this is genetic, but we can improve it. That I will discuss separately. But first is the acquired one, which is the 95% is acquired heart disease. And it is anything after 20, you are at risk. And many times I think when the troops died in the Korean War and there was a report of autopsy, and many young people had a very high level of cholesterol in their blood.
Oh, my.
And yeah, this is, again, Marine Corps fighting in the war, but again, the environment they fight it, it is not, it is a risk factor for many diseases, including heart disease. And so I'm not surprised that what happened to them, poor diet, in military. When you are in that situation, you don't get a good fresh fruit and vegetable and anything else. And so let us discuss. So there are many causes, and you mentioned some of them, that environmental and diet has both. Diet can increase the risk. Diet can reduce the risk of heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
And diet, for example, if you are taking a diet rich in fat and low in fiber, that would increase the risk of many other diseases, including your intestinal change. It will change the intestinal flora, microorganism, probiotics composition. And so that's very important to remember. The diet is extremely crucial. And another factor you mentioned, smoking, that is the most contributor of heart disease, is smoking. If you can just stop smoking, 40% of heart disease will be reduced.
Is it because of the amount of free radicals in the body? Is that the main reason?
That's the thing I was going to mention, that if you look the all agent, like, athlete, if you do a lot of oxygen, breathe oxygen, and you don't have a sufficient amount of micronutrient in your body to protect it, then it will damage many organs to your body, and including heart disease. So increase the heart risk. And for example, if you are living in a poor environment, for example, that also increases the oxidative stress because you are exposed to toxin. For example, we can be exposed to electromagnetic radiation, which generates free radicals, but it has become an environmental agent. So we can't avoid it. But the question is, we try to reduce these things as much as feasible. Because Wi-Fi is going to be there, nothing we can do, but we have devised a program that could help. And so if you look at all the diverse agents, they all ended up causing a free radical damage, chronic inflammation involvement. These two are the main things for most human diseases, including heart disease. So whether it's your diet, if you measure obese people, for example, if you measure the level of oxidative stress marker or inflammatory marker like cytokines, pro-inflammatory cytokines, they're all elevated. And so you know that diabetic patients, exactly same thing. And these things are information have been published. So when you know that all these things are risk factor that we have, some risk factors are modifiable. For example, you can have a good diet. And as a matter of fact, as you know, that Mediterranean diet, you may have heard it. There are many types of diet, and I did research some of those diets, but many of them are very common by different name.
Right.
People who were taking a Mediterranean diet of live, they live longer, they have good quality of life, they have reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, any chronic type of disease. And so the diet, I mean, I don't know whether they were doing exercise. I presume that those people were. Once you take a diet, that means you are careful about your health, and exercise is one of them. And so I think, so in my book, and when I'm writing another book that I'm recommending every place, that you take a high fiber, low fat diet. This is must, which are really a plant-based diet. That's what a Mediterranean diet, they emphasize plant-based diet.
Uh-huh.
And among the, as far as for non-vegetarian, you can take fish as well, but they try to say reduce this intake of meat. And again, they make a distinction between a white meat and a red meat. Beef would be red meat, chicken would be white meat. And so they have gone through the mechanism, for example, in red meat, the hemoglobin get loose when you take it. Many times takes a raw, less cooked. You can see that you can red meat. So when hemoglobin gets out in the intestine and they get oxidized, then it becomes very toxic. And so, but red meat, if you take a chicken, it doesn't have blood there, so it doesn't create those kind of problems. So these are simple, modifiable. That doesn't mean you don't eat beef, but eat maybe once in a while. And and so, but even chicken, and as I mentioned in the last things, that meat also generates a lot of mutagens, a lot of carcinogen. And so the thing is that the way I eat it, mostly chicken, fish, and a plant-based diet. And
that makes sense, Dr. Prasad. I can't tell you that I'm going to necessarily buy into that not eating red meat thing personally. My question to you, though, and I think this is the direction that you're going in, is let's say a person can't change their diet. They can't afford to make major modifications to their diet. They're stuck in a certain socioeconomic class, and what they eat is what they eat.
Right.
Now, how do they get the nutrients that's missing from their food?
Yeah, the one thing is that for sure, because suppose you take, they have not changed it, because despite of recommendation of that's a good point you mentioned, despite the recommendation of best diet, best lifestyle, best environmental, the risk of heart disease is increasing. So obviously, it is impossible, including mine, change the behavior to follow strictly. Maybe one day or 2 days you can follow, but not every day.
No, you got all over television. You got every possible how would you say it? Comfort food. Every possible option is being presented to you every day on television. You're driving down the road and you're seeing all these different options.
Exactly.
So what can we do, Dr. Prasad?
So again, all these kind of things that you mentioned generates a lot of free radicals in your body. And when you are producing a lot of free radical, that induces a lot of chronic inflammation.
Yes.
And so in that scenario, then your best strategy is to reduce that, is take the micronutrient. And then at least the produce that you are abusing yourself, for example, you take alcohol or whatever you are taking, take once in a while. Suppose somebody takes more and he can't do anything else, at least you can take micronutrient to reduce the impact. To reduce, you cannot eliminate it, to reduce the impact. And so I think, micronutrient becomes so powerful that for anybody, you take an NFL player, when they get resting inside, they breathe pure oxygen for
Yeah.
energy.
Wow.
This is true. Pure oxygen will give you a lot of energy,
Right.
but that's a transient one because that also generates a lot of free radicals.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, you feel happy because you went and play again with more energy. But long-term effect is very deadly. And as you know, NFL player health is extremely poor when they retire. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you say that if these people have micronutrient before going to the field, say for example, you should have an at least protective, even during playing, we are breathing a lot, you're running a lot. These are all oxidative stress in your system.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to have, I'm sure they have a good diet and everything, but in addition to have a micronutrient, I'm sure they must have taken some kind of micronutrient supplement, this football player or tennis player or any player.
Undoubtedly, they're doing something to try to stay healthy because they've got nutritionists and they've got hired crew that help them somewhat control what's in their diet.
Exactly. So that they don't abuse and then don't take an inflammatory diet. Even in my experience, because I have a little back pain, someday if I take inflammatory diet, which I know which are there, like if you drink or take or ate more than you should, which I do once in a while, and then I feel my pain increases. So it is well known phenomena. Now the question is, how the people are doing the research on this issue, heart disease, how the research going on with respect to, say, micronutrient. They are developing all kind of medications, for heart medication, for, blood pressure, for your cholesterol lowering.
Yeah, mostly statins, right?
Yeah, and they are very valuable. And so, but what you can do in addition to that to prevent it so that you don't have to have that kind of stuff. And so what people have tried to do in research, because they want to do research, clinician, they use micronutrient as a drug. So when they study that, you use one drug at a time to affect a particular disturbance like cholesterol. Then you take a Lipitor, cholesterol lowering drug of any kind. You have blood pressure, then you take a blood pressure medicine, which is totally different group of medicine.
Right.
And so if you have some kind of a blockage, then you use Plavix, which is a anticoagulation drug. So you see what I mean. So they treat that, but so this is the way they use the nutrient to see how effective is in a study of heart disease.
They pick one. They pick one
exactly.
antioxidant, something to see if it'll make a difference.
Yeah, but they forget that body has a multiple antioxidant.
That's right.
Some of which we take from the diet, some of which our body makes it. And when the oxidative stress occurs in your body because of bad food or bad habit or too much oxygen taking, then they get depleted. They get slowly decline. And so if you don't substitute them, then you have a health problem. And so there was one very famous study called HOPE study. And they use a 400 international unit of vitamin E. They did not even mention whether it was natural or synthetic, because sometimes, for example, if you buy from Hoffman LaRoche company, they made a synthetic one. So first, and they also make a synthetic beta carotene. So the remembered beta carotene trial in the smokers, it was synthetic beta carotene. And synthetic beta carotene is not very effective at all compared to natural beta carotene. But so we don't know. But in any case, so did a very large number of population they recruited, and they found that there was no effect, either primary endpoint or secondary endpoint, whatever they were measuring, 10 different endpoints. But in one subgroup who has a tendency to go to hospital because of the serious issue, they increased by 10% the number of people who went to the hospital. That was the side effects. And then another study shows that in a patient, they gave a 800 international unit of vitamin E alone and measured the oxidative damage, it was higher.
Oh, wow.
Because you expect that, you predict that it will be happen because heart patients have a high level of oxidative stress, and vitamin E or vitamin C or beta carotene individually goes there, they get oxidized by free radicals,
Oh,
and
wow.
that become a pro-oxidant rather than as an antioxidant. And pro-oxidant is kind of free radicals.
Dr. Prasad, that's jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. So you just said that the way that they tested it showed that a single antioxidant made the whole situation worse. No wonder they try to scare everybody against using any kind of an antioxidant approach.
Then they conclude about the whole nutrition, whole nutrient.
All of it's bad.
Yeah, all of it bad. And if you go and look on the even epidemiology study, it's a survey type of a study, not an intervention like this guy did, actually gave the intervention every day and placebo. But, epidemiology just send a set of questions and people answered it. Were you taking a vitamin? What kind? B, A, And this variation, some people will say, I just take vitamin B. Some people say, I just take vitamin C, So with this kind of survey study, you can't make any judgment. And then you come up with, sometimes you say, oh yeah, it was very useful. Sometimes they say, no, it did not do anything. So it is a nightmare as far as the clinical study is concerned. But, so the question is, is there any evidence in literature, in science, that multiple antioxidant has ever helped in any human diseases? Fair question, because we are saying micronutrient is better than every place else. And so here are two studies that show that yes, multiple micronutrient is important for in reducing not only heart disease, but also other human diseases, and therefore would be applicable to heart disease as well, because the same oxidative stress and inflammation is involved. And here is first give you one animal study that I collaborated with a fellow, the Dr. Clive Charlton from a Meharry Medical College in Nashville. So MPTP is a chemical that can induce like a Parkinson's-like syndrome in animal model. It also causes some of the drugs that people were taking in the past, they had a contamination of MPTP and they were suffering from a Parkinson's-like disease. So and so they picked up that, yes, in animal model like mice or rat, if you inject them, it produces Parkinson-like syndrome. And also biochemically, what happens in the dopamine neuron and so on. And so this guy, so we said, okay, here's a micronutrient, which was the antioxidant component of micro daily. Because, just a mixture of but the dosage was same. And so we injected to the mice before giving MPTP in one group. Another group just got MPTP, and they found that another group got just the curcumin. So he was comparing again, single antioxidant is better than this one. And single antioxidant in an animal study always say good results. So here, curcumin also showed some good results in terms of reducing the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. But the antioxidant is much, much better in improving something the single antioxidant could not do it. So that is one example that how, even though in the same model where individual antioxidant always produce good result, and as expected, they did produce good results, but combination was much, much better. And
well, that's comforting. That would be comforting to our audience to know that someone like you actually did the research and proved that putting a combination of antioxidants together made a big difference in an animal model. So that suggests it would be beneficial to me too.
Exactly. And
That
then
one of the
second
reasons
one,
why? Is
huh?
that one of the reasons why you were issued this patent for your MMF?
No, I think it is, those data were a little older at that time when I had a different company, but these
Uh-huh.
are published information. So we
Right.
can, if you want to review an article, I can send it. But
Good.
another human study was there, not by me, but somebody else. They just picked up a commercial preparation of multivitamin, which has some mixture of antioxidant, and random, just picked up from the commercial market. And question was, in a population-wise, does it reduce the risk of cancer? But single antioxidant, that when they tried, they said it increases the risk of cancer in a smoker. But in this case, they tried multiple vitamin, and they found they reduced the cancer incidence by 10% in men.
Cancer, or we're talking heart disease?
No, in this case, well, I was talking about is there any evidence on any disease? Is there any evidence?
I get you.
Because single antioxidant have been tried in a cancer, in heart disease,
Right.
and so on. But
Right.
the question was that is the multiple antioxidant
Would it do anything?
Any place? And if they do, that means likely it will be also useful for heart disease and other disease as well.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And so here's the two different diseases. So it was a cancer. Then another question they tried in Africa, that HIV patient, they are positive with HIV infection, but now they wait till the symptom become worse, and then they get antiviral therapy. And then, so the question was that by giving a micronutrient to those who are HIV infected, does it delay the requirement of the antiviral therapy for a long time? And indeed, when they gave it, and this was a well-controlled trial, and when they gave this infection, it delayed the need for antiviral therapy. And again, it was commercial preparation. It was not the one that we have it. This would have done much better result. But even in this case, a poor, but it was at least micronutrient multiple. And they delay the requirement of antiviral therapy by 3 years.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing.
Dr. Prasad, that's with a poor quality vitamin.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So now see, that's where you're getting us now, Dr. Prasad. So, and I hope everybody understood that you're saying that an average multivitamin delayed the onset of a serious disease by 3 years.
Yes.
What would happen if you introduce something that was a real quality?
Exactly. It could prolong. You may not need antiviral therapy.
May not need the antiviral at all.
Because this was again published by Duke people several years ago, that vitamin E succinate prevents the replication of HIV virus.
Oh my goodness.
Replication of HIV. Remember, vitamin E succinate does it. No other vitamin does it.
That's incredible. I mean, I was under the impression that one of the only things that could stop it is your own body's T cells.
That's of course, your body, if your immune system is good, you don't get infection in the first place.
Right.
If you get infection, then you take this one even late.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you take it in the beginning,
There's something else that while we're talking about this, that I really want you to make a comment on. Two things. Someone just asked a question. They want confirmation that all of the ingredients are natural and these are not synthetic ingredients. So
that's right. The EMF, all are from natural sources. All ingredients that we have it, but I want to make some point on that one. That how you define a synthetic? Well, if it is a man in a big company makes it from the raw material, from a zero, to, but in this case, say, so for example, vitamin E, we use vitamin E succinate. but vitamin E molecule, alpha tocopherol molecule,
Yeah.
if is a pure and natural, that they are very unstable. They are sensitive to light and oxygen. They will be all destroyed. You can manufacture in the capsule. So in laboratory, then they have to make a vitamin E either succinate, or vitamin E acetate, or vitamin E nicotinate. There are different types of vitamin E in order to be stable. And then if you take it, so this is natural source, but
Right.
it is not a synthetic source because it has
The
made
natural source.
Yeah, but if you are started from one carbon or hydrogen or whatever right from the beginning, that is a synthetic one. And good
Gotcha.
example would be that in our previous product, folic acid was synthetic one. Even if you take a folate, which we take from the food and other things, that's a natural form.
Right.
But if you have a MTHFR mutation, they can convert either folic acid or folate that you take from the diet. They can be converted to methyl folate, which is the foreign body uses it.
I see. Well, you solved that problem by going with the methylated formula. So that's a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Well, then the next question I wanted to ask you, just along that same line, as long as we're dancing around this, you said something to me the other day, and I'm throwing this at Dr. Prasad off the cuff here because this has been on my mind and it's been bugging me ever since we had the conversation. And I went and I researched it. I think that N-acetylcysteine binds to the spike protein in SARS CoV2. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because those 6 documents I showed from PubMed that showed how SARS CoV2 produces a cytotoxic effect on the heart. You said, and I believe the research supports it, that N-acetylcysteine binds to the spike protein. Does that suggest that the heart literally can become healthier by adding something that has N-acetylcysteine in it?
Also that, if suppose not only that, but the N-acetylcysteine and also some other nutrient, because see, the post survivor of a this COVID infection, COVID-19 or their variant infection, and they have a still remaining tissue damage, which are producing a lot of cytokines, pro-inflammatory cytokines, free radicals in their body, and they are causing this damage to your brain cell, to your heart cell, to your kidney, could be reproductive organ.
That's creating all kinds of problems.
And so the micro daily and NS still is for in a way for prevention, because then if you have bind with spike protein, it can get. But N-acetylcysteine also does it that suppose a few virus got in, and because there is a lot of competition between the receptor and the virus, but suppose somebody got in, then they prevent the replication of COVID-19. When they entered it, they block the replication so it can't go any further. And so by taking this kind of micronutrient, you are attacking in many different ways. You are stimulating your immune function, you are reducing oxidative stress and inflammation, and you are also preventing any future infection for any other kind of variant, that might develop. Or brand new virus, COVID-20. How do I know?
Dr. Prasad, this is powerful, and folks need to understand this. We'd like to show folks an example of how micronutrients can be involved in helping the heart to repair itself. So we have one testimonial that I captured about a year ago that we want to show. So Jeff, do you mind queuing that up for us, please?
Absolutely.
My name is Jacqueline Gray, and I was introduced to micronutrients about a year ago. And my husband and I, we decided to take a look at it and do some research on it. prior to even taking the pills. However, during that particular time, especially at work, I was under a lot of stress and my blood pressure was uncontrolled, unbeknownst to me. And I had to go in the hospital because I couldn't breathe. I knew prior to why I couldn't breathe, because basically I was in the hospital in 2017 with the same condition, but it was a little worse in 2000. No, it actually got worse in last March, when I was in a hospital. I had to be hospitalized for it. The doctor came in and said that my injection fraction was 29%, which was not good. And then when we did our follow-up visit, my husband and I with the doctor, he said to us that it wasn't, good. That was not a good place to be in. So we sought out a second opinion. And from the second opinion, the doctor told us that what I had could be reversed. However, he thought it to be a mitral valve prolapse. The mitral valve prolapse, he said, if it was severe, I would have had to have open heart surgery. But if it was not severe, then medications would control it. Being introduced to micronutrients, we decided that we would try that along with the regimen that I was on. And I would say a month later, because I had to go to the doctor every month at this point. A month later, when he did the ultrasound on my heart, he said that, no, I'm sorry. He did the CTA, which is a CAT scan of the heart, so he can get a really good look at what was going on with my heart. He said that the heart looked like it had started to repair itself and that I did not need surgery. So that was the first good news. The second good news came the following month, when he said that now my heart looks like it was into full repair, whereas the first doctor said that the injection fraction would never repair itself, it would never reverse, it would only get worse, and I would have to only control it. But now with this doctor and with taking micronutrients, that's the only thing I can liken it to, because that's what changed in my life when I started taking that. The micronutrients, the heart actually repaired itself and the mitral valve actually repaired itself. So the injection fraction went from 25% now to 49%, which the doctor was telling my husband and I was technically unheard of. Basically, he was shocked, and so were we, that my heart actually repaired itself. My sister, unfortunately, had a similar heart condition to mine, and she passed away December 3rd from the condition. And this was after I had told her about taking the micronutrients, but she didn't take it. And I did. And I'm still here to tell the story. So I'm extremely happy about that.
That's pretty amazing, Dr.
That's
Prasad,
awesome.
huh?
And you mentioned this was congestive heart failure?
Yes. Yeah, so it's a form of congestive heart failure. The doctor said that there are many, what people don't realize is there are many forms of congestive heart failure. My particular congestive heart failure came from uncontrolled high blood pressure and then my mitral valve backing up into my lungs. It would, one of them where the flap would open and then close, it was fine. But when the flap opened, one of the flaps opened, the blood went back and it was like backing up into the heart and then overflowing into my lungs. So he said that was because the heart was stressed from the amount of pressure that was being put on it because of the high blood pressure. So yes, that was a form of congestive heart failure.
Have you been able to get your blood pressure under control?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, yay. Went to the doctor 2 weeks ago, and my blood pressure was 129/60.
Wow,
That must
that's
make you
very
feel pretty good.
Yeah.
That makes me feel awesome. That makes me feel awesome. I mean, it's a scary place to be because you're talking about the heart. So that's a very scary place to be when your heart starts to malfunction on you, and you can.
That's good, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Very
Dr. Prasad, what do you think when you hear, of stories like this?
He's amazing. I don't know how to even explain it, but the fact that, because I feel that really micronutrient, in addition to reducing, say, oxidative stress, inflammation, improving your immune function, it must have some tissue modification function.
Something happened.
Yeah, and the reason, the only evidence that was we found in our research with Dr. Boone in Denver, that when these firefighters were given the micronutrient, they're reduced in a lipid profile, like decreasing cholesterol, decreasing LDL, increasing HDL, and so on. Reducing CRP protein was as good as the Lipitor.
Oh, wow.
But there was one difference that Lipitor could not produce is, namely, generally, as you grow older and the carotid artery becomes thicker because of the thickness of the wall of the carotid artery, because of the oxidative stress could be oxidized LDL, they can do all the plaque formation. But when he was taking these things, the thickness he was measuring in a millimeter by the ultrasound. So it was not just the guesswork, it was all quantitative measurement. And so the micronutrient group, which was microdaily actually, was given, and within 1 year, it was 6 months, some evidence of no increase in the thickness of the, what they call intimal thickness wall of the carotid, intima medial thickness, some weird name, but it is the thickness of carotid artery.
Wow.
And micronutrient group did not do it. So this is the first evidence that micronutrient, in addition to doing all these things that we mentioned, can also modify the tissue. Because what heart disease, you see that this was a tissue modifications. They were making sure that the valve open and closes properly. I mean, function. So many times we know something about micronutrient, but still we have many things we don't know.
I would say so.
Yeah,
I would say so. There's a lot of things that is not known yet. Dr. Nakuzi, when he's a medical doctor, when I asked him about it, he says, no, that's a mechanical problem. He says that usually has to be repaired surgically.
Right.
This is mind-boggling.
Yeah. So this is very exciting, and we have seen a tissue modification, like Judy from she has some kind of problem with tissue, someplace in a feet or things. They went away. It's outgrowth,
Yeah, we had another woman, Auntie Claudia from Trinidad. She had scar tissue from a double mastectomy. She said the pain was out of control.
Yeah.
He said that she claims that microdaily EMF, all the scar tissue has loosened up. She said her whole life changed, from that.
So this is another really that nobody has done research except us. And now we are seeing the anecdotal story from the patient. So growing evidence suggests that this kind of multiple micronutrient can modify tissue modification in terms of repairing that. It is a tissue modification. What I'm saying, it is a repairing the tissue damage or whatever damage, wherever it happens, whether it's a heart or in a brain or in your feet.
Well, people need to know people need to know that that this is serious business. And I just want them to see these couple of things here real quick before we wrap up, that this patent exists that was given that includes the words heart health. So just remember that. That's part of the supporting research on Dr. Prasad's formula. So this is no joke. This is supported by the research that was granted. Heart health is in the name of the patent. And these are the ingredients. And if I understand correctly, Dr. Prasad, there's two of the items here, the B9 and the B12, that originally were not 100% natural, but now
that's right. B9 and B12 was synthetic. That's
so B9 and B12 on the original one was synthetic.
Yeah, right.
B9 and B12 on the methylated is 100% is from natural sources.
That's right. Yeah. And,
So
and not only they get absorbed better, but also they retain in the body better than the folic acid or folate. But at that time, there was not much clinical study when we did the study.
On the original.
And everybody was, clinical study in folic acid, and nobody raised the issue of the mutation in MTHFR. And I didn't know that myself.
Right.
And so whatever the standard procedure thought, I was more concerned that they have enough B vitamin for most people. But if you have mutation, then you can convert to folic acid or dietary folate. So,
and now we know that if you have weed killer in diet will also stop you from being able to methylate those B.
Yeah.
So really, you need to be on either the methylated, the purple bottle, or the red bottle or higher. Those are the two that everybody should be on. And still my favorite is this N-acetylcysteine because
you see, N-acetylcysteine, it functions like a glutathione, but it increases glutathione, obviously, but also it has some unique effect by itself. Because sometimes glutathione you can take orally as a supplement because it will be destroyed 100% in your gut. But still people are buying in the marketplace.
That's right. Yeah, that's a waste of money because unfortunately, if you consume glutathione, it actually increases your risk of cancer. I've been told.
Yeah, I know.
It's a warning that they present. But this one right here, the micro daily EMF is by far the best one. I highly recommend this for everybody.
Yes.
For anyone
for general health.
Especially because of this EMF radiation exposure. So for anybody who's on the meeting now and wondering, which of the products you should take, my suggestion and Dr. Prasad's recommendation is the methylated or the EMF. Those are the more advanced formulas.
Right.
So you want to go with those. And then you just get back to the person that invited you to this discussion, and they'll help you set up your own subscription to the products, and you can get a 25% discount, the same discount that every affiliate gets on the product. So you don't have to become an affiliate to get the discount. You can get the discount just by becoming a preferred customer. You get the same exact discount. So just get back with whoever invited you to this discussion, and they will help you to get yourself an account with Engage Global, and that gives you full access to Dr. Prasad's formula. Now there's one formula that Dr. Prasad recommends. There's two of them. There's the Premier Bundle, which is EMF, Collagen Daily, and the Brain Boost. That's a powerful combination. But the Dr. Prasad Optimal Bundle is the EMF, Collagen Daily, Brain Boost, and the Eye Boost. So those are the ones you want to go down there.
And probiotics, don't forget.
Add the probiotic, add the probiotic in.
Probiotics is involved even in heart health.
It's critical. Critical in heart health because of the bacteria.
And also that gut, brain axis, gut pulmonary axis, this.
So really, Dr. Prasad, we could talk about this all day and all night, and because I'm don't want to belabor this. Someone raised a question. Let me get someone else's question in before I ask you another question.
Sure.
Can you comment on the young girl that you helped, Zinthia? Can you comment on her situation?
What is that she has?
It was a little girl named Zinthia, that you helped her some years ago, several years ago.
Oh,
You
Cynthia,
helped her
yeah,
on
Cynthia, yeah. She has,
Can-
yeah, she was, when I helped her, she was like, 3 years old, probably 3 years. And her doctor said she has about 17 surgery. She has a multiple mutation and all kind of chromosomal damage. And she just could not, doctor said you have 3 months to go, according to her mother. So out of desperation, mother was taking vitamin. So she started taking the old micro daily. And it's amazing how her recovery was. Within 3 months, when I went there and I saw her, I said, man, oh man, she's very recovered. Then after a year, when I saw her again in Salt Lake City, she was now, smiling and responding to, that's amazing. And she has now must be 12 years old or more. And she's still around with a functional person. And I'm surprised how much tissue repair has gone despite of multiple mutations, not one mutation. We get concerned about one mutation. Doctor said she has multiple mutations.
Wow.
And because, in that community, you have a cousin marriages, what is that, a special group of people where they intermarriage with a sister. So the risk of genetic disease is very, very high.
You're talking about incest-like relationship.
Yeah, but it is mutual. It is not forceful. This is their culture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so they live in a small community, but she belongs to mother, who lives in that community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, but Cynthia was something example that even his doctor could not believe that she can do that well, just on micronutrient. Plus, whatever doctor is recommending, she was getting that I don't know about it. But just the micro daily alone, because at that time we have not developed all this fancy formula. But I hope she's getting what you call a probiotics.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, and I think folks need to really kind of get this, that this is the food that's missing from our food.
Yeah.
So Dr. Prasad has really brought to us and surgically identified what we should be getting from our food, from our diet. We should be getting these things from our diet. It would not be a big deal. Our health would not be in decline if we were getting it from our diet, but we're not. We're not. It's not your fault. So if you are at a place where you're having trouble with your heart, if you are at a place where you're fighting visceral fat, if you are at a place where you're fighting fatty liver, if you are at a place where you've got SARS CoV2 in your body, it's not your fault. It's only your fault if you choose to do nothing about it. Then it's your fault.
Exactly.
So if you choose to remain ignorant and take no action today, that's your choice. But we have now made it possible, with the help of Dr. Kadar Prasad, David Nemelka, and Engage Global, it's now possible for you to have access to a very, very, very special formula that represents the food that's missing from our food. Yeah. So you can turn back the clock a little bit. Someone raised the question too, just to finish this discussion up. If you do decide you want to add the probiotic or any other item to one of the bundles, if you want to add that to any one of the bundles, it's still free shipping. So you can get Dr. Prasad's optimal bundle. You can add the probiotic into it, but you still won't pay for the shipping. So you can do that. It's still free shipping, but you just pay the extra cost for the additional item that you add to the bundle. Okay. So Dr. Prasad, we just can't thank you enough for your being willing to take the time to join us in discussions like this. I do want everybody to know the next time that we're going to have a conversation so that they can put it on their calendar. Folks need to write this down. Dr. Prasad's available a lot because the Engage Global wants him to be available to the company. But I'm going to be interviewing him again in just a couple of weeks. And I would just challenge anyone to take a wild guess as to what our subject is going to be, because we were hinting at it all day today. Any wild guess as to what the subject's going to be? Oops, is already on the screen. Sorry. We're going to be talking about long COVID. So take a screenshot of this if you can, if there's not anything blocking the screen. But we're going to be talking to Dr. Prasad about long COVID and the immune system. And let me tell you something. As you can see, just on just the surface, just scratching the surface of the conversation on the heart, and we can't get this done in an hour. So we could go for 2 hours on any one of these subjects. That's how much of a reservoir this gentleman is with his brilliance and his genius. So do not miss out on this. Make sure you invite anyone that you care about, because long COVID is as serious as a heart attack. And I showed you 6 research studies out of 8,000 that show that there's a direct connection between COVID and cardiovascular issues. But now we're going to do a deep dive on the whole SARS CoV2 thing and the impact of long COVID and the connection between the immune system and what you can do about it. So that's on September the 25th. Once again, right here on this same program. Okay. So, Dr. Prasad, thank you very much again, sir. And we really appreciate your being here for this discussion. And we're looking forward to talking with you again in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I look forward to it.
And folks, listen, we have another special guest that's going to be joining us for the business meeting. So if you want to unmute now, you're more than welcome to say goodbye to Dr. Prasad. But for those of you who are interested in the business, we're going to be interviewing David Nemelka in just a couple of minutes for our business meeting, the owner and CEO of Engage Global. We're going to be interviewing him in just a moment. So hang in there.
Okay, good.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you,
John.
Dr. Prasad.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you,
Prasad.
Dr. Prasad.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
You were
Thank you,
phenomenal.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad and Jonathan.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Dr. Prasad.
Awesome
Thank
sauce.
you,
Awesome
Jonathan.
sauce.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Let's
Thank you, Dr.
go.
Prasad.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Fantastic.
Super fantastic,
That
Dr.
was
Prasad.
phenomenal.
Thanks, Jonathan and
Thanks,
Dr.
Jonathan.
Absolutely.
That was
Thank you all.
phenomenal.
Thank you all very much for joining us. I hear a question.
I think we're going to have.
I hear a question. Go ahead.
Yes, what time will that be on the 25th?
On the 25th, same time, 5 o'clock Eastern.
Thank
Yep,
you.
5 o'clock Eastern. All right, very good. So thank you guys very much for joining us. And I'll tell you, it's nearly impossible to just contain the discussion with Dr. Prasad. There's just so much there, But I hope that if nothing else, everybody understands the importance of doing something. Either you can just keep on. I think it's Einstein that defined well, whatever. Insanity. Yes. The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. So instead of staying on that road of just, accepting things the way that they are, we have an opportunity to do something. We have an opportunity to do something and to change the trajectory of our lives. So take full advantage of that. So now, let's make our transition.
Can I ask a question before you go?
Go ahead.
Will you be
That's Joanne.
recording? This is Joanne. Will you be recording this webinar?
All of my programs are recorded. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to get a copy to send to some of my friends and family members.
Yes, you can usually get back with whoever invited you to this discussion, and they'll tell you how to get it. But but I live stream, as you can see, I live stream on YouTube, and I'm not sure if you can click on the YouTube thing, but I think if you click on YouTube, you can choose copy stream link, and if you see it on your screen, do you all see YouTube live on your screen? You do. If you do, click on the little arrow by YouTube and you see where it says copy streaming link. You can copy that. That link now will take you back to wherever the recording is, and you can rewind, play, delete, throw darts at it, whatever you want to with it. So you actually have access to it. You don't even need to ask me about it. It's public. It's all over the world right now. So thank you for your question, Joanne. I hope that helps. Okay.
Mr. Jonathan, this is Mrs. Rice. I just wanted to say that my son and my daughter has seen your presentations on YouTube. In fact, I wanted to know if these recordings, if these had been recorded. And my son said, he mentioned you and how you put that on YouTube. And I mean, your presentation and Zooms are so informative, informational, phenomenal. And I just personally want to thank you for all that you do, and for putting making Dr. Prasad part of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rice, for your feedback. And when I say that it's my pleasure, my privilege to do it, I'm very serious about that. I don't see this as work. The reason I aligned myself with David Nemelka was because the man said that he wanted to bring health and wellness to the world. I think that's a bit ambitious. And I applaud him for having that level of ambition. But I'm glad to go along for the ride, because if nothing else, the people in my circle of influence can benefit. And I'm thrilled to be able to tell people about something that can actually make a difference for them. So, but thank you very much, Ms. Rice, for your feedback. And in case anybody didn't know it, especially diabetics, because me and that diabetes thing, we are, we're at odds, because that thing took my mother. And so anything connected with that, we are at war. So the day that intensive care nurse told me that we were praying for my mother's immune system to kick in, I still remember that. I'm a firm believer in the power of prayer, but I had that covered. I figured the hospital was actually doing something to make a difference. And since they weren't, I think everybody needs to be empowered to do something for yourself. But thank you again, Ms. Rice, for your feedback. So let's talk about the opportunity and why this is an opportunity. I think I've mentioned it before, and I think everyone now ought to be very, very, very well aware that we're in the right place at the right time. And certain things have to kind of align in order for an opportunity to exist. One of the things that has to align, and I think it was, I believe it was Rockefeller that said that if you want to become, and they're talking about being wealthy, is to find someone that people are going to need and get there first. So if you can figure that out, for example, if you lived, say, 200 years ago and had an opportunity to buy the state of Florida for, say, $100, would you? No brainer, right? Because today you can't buy a teaspoon of dirt in Florida for $100. But if you could have done it back then, you were ahead of the game. And that's what the government did when they bought it from the Indians, right? From the Seminole Indians. They bought it and got it for a steal. Look at the state of Alaska. They paid what, $20 million to Russia to buy the whole state of Alaska. Ooh, what kind of a deal was that at the time? We'll find out what everyone's going to need and get there first. Well, that's what this is, microdaily. That gentleman that we just talked to, Dr. Prasad, is absolutely brilliant. And the formula that he's put together is in a class, in a league, all by itself. You got that. The second part of it is there a need for it? Once again, that's a no-brainer. Right now, folks, I don't know the statistic on it, but let me tell you something. All-cause mortality has exploded in the past 2 years. Now, what does that mean? Back when they before they had a measles vaccine, people were seriously affected by the measles. When the measles vaccine was produced, not only was measles brought under control, but all-cause mortality decreased, meaning the immune system overall got better. So the reasons why people were dying decreased. Everything benefited because the immune system got better. But today, all-cause mortality is on the rise. So when COVID-19 hit and the vaccines came out, the immune system didn't get better. The immune system is struggling right now. So put two and two together. A phenomenal product. And everybody needs it. There's a third component, a world-class company. If you can find a company that doesn't have 100,000 distributors, but that is built like they're ready for 1 million distributors, and if they happen to be between 5 and 10 years old, that's a walk-off home run. I mean, that's a trifecta. That's the unbelievable triangle of opportunity altogether right there. So we've handled the product part of it. We've handled the need part of it. Now let's talk to the owner and CEO of the company Engage Global. And let's just see if we have the world-class business part of it. Let's see if that piece of it is in place. I'd like to introduce to each one of you, if you have not met him before, this is David Nemelka, the owner and CEO of Engage Global.
Hello, Jonathan. Happy Sunday to you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for breaking off a little piece of your time to join us.
I am at my mother's home. She's preparing a dinner for me and my siblings. And so I've snuck up into her playroom for the grandkids, and we're doing a Zoom with you because there's nowhere else I'd rather be than with you and our good Engage family.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I've just been bragging about you. And
I heard you, and I've been listening to Dr. Prasad. What an amazing man. And I want to express my love and appreciation and gratitude that he can be our partner, all of us, in bringing this mission of health and wellness to the world to fruition. So that was fantastic.
Well, I think that folks are going to benefit from it if we can, if everybody shares it and gets the word out about it. I think we'll just exponentially keep expanding. But let me spotlight you for just a hot minute here, because people need to understand why it's an opportunity. We got the other two pieces of the triangle done, but what can you tell us about David Nemelka and this company as to why people should align themselves with this and see this as the ultimate opportunity right now?
Well, I'm going to use myself as an example because just like all of you who are here, I'm looking for opportunities where there can be profit and a purpose. So my career, really, I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I've started multiple companies. I had the good fortune to go to the Wharton Business School and get my MBA. And coming out of Wharton, I wanted to get some, Fortune 50 big company experience. And so I was fortunate enough to be hired by Procter & Gamble. And my first project there was working in the supplement industry, looking at the research that Dr. Prasad did way back in 1993.
Oh, wow.
It just blows my mind to think that I touched Dr. Prasad back then, and now today he is my business partner and our partner in bringing our mission to the world. So anyways, at Procter & Gamble, but being an entrepreneur, it was a great experience, but I want to do my own thing. So I started my own company, McKinley Capital, jumped into venture capital for well over 20 years. Ultimately, companies that we help start and or fund, we're on the New York Stock Exchange, American Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, funded for well over $1 billion in capital, had great success and good fortune there. And as a part of that, I established some relationships with some really fantastic people. And one of those people was a friend of mine whose family sold their nutrition business for about $700 million. And because they were so prominent, Dr. Prasad and his military micronutrient formula became aware to them. But in selling their business, they were in non-competes and they had financially really retired. But my good friend said, David, I know you're entrepreneurial. This is something that's pretty special. You need to look at this. And so he introduced me to the military micronutrient formulation, Dr. Prasad. And being a venture capitalist, being an investor, being a finance person, I saw opportunity. So people here today are looking for opportunity. Well, way back in 2012, I saw that opportunity in the world's most scientifically validated micronutrients. I was able to recognize that the world is suffering, as you were talking about, Jonathan, from micronutrient deficiencies, which is having negative impact on immune system, which is facilitating and enhancing inflammation and chronic inflammation, which is the source, as Dr. Prasad says, of pretty much all human ailments.
Yep.
So I saw big opportunity. How can there not be big opportunity when you have the best of the best that's been validated by third parties like NASA, the US military, $24 million invested in validating? I saw opportunity. And so being opportunistic and having some capital at my disposal, ultimately, we started with a license for military micronutrient formula. And I think that was about when I was introduced to you, Jonathan. And ultimately, we acquired the formula, or Engage acquired the formula, and Dr. Prasad decided to become our partner. So that was way back around 2016, and that's when the real opportunity became even bigger. And when I saw that, I don't know about you, but I do know about you because I know what is important to you. Doing venture capital and just financing companies, that's about making money.
Right.
And doing that for over 20 years, I was feeling a bit empty. I had a nice bank account, but I had an empty heart. And so when I saw the impact that military micronutrient formulation, which is Micro Daily today, was having on human lives, I decided to make this my life's purpose, my life's goal, my life's mission, and combine profit with purpose. And that is why I'm here today, because this is about, like you say, it's an ambitious goal, and perhaps we'll achieve it in my lifetime and perhaps not. But my vision is we create a company that someday the culture and the values that are here will continue on even when I'm not here, and that mission will ultimately be fulfilled. So that's my life's purpose.
Now, David, this is no small undertaking, though. You know, to put together a company. I mean, this is not one of those things where you just go take $50,000 and buy a McDonald's franchise. I mean, I know you can't get a McDonald's franchise for that kind of money today, but it's a significant investment in resources to do something like this.
Everything I have is here. Every resource I have, financial, personal, relationship, I brought it all to the table at Engage. And it is not easy. This is a challenging project, but I think like you said, we have built the foundation where we are prepared for literally hundreds of thousands of distributors and millions of customers. We are ready and capable of fulfilling on that. It did not happen overnight, but after a decade of effort, the Engage has matured and it's ready. So, you know, timing matters in investments and in life. You were talking about the timing of, you know, morbidity increasing in America and in the world. It's like we've hit this transitory point where it's just getting worse for everybody, or for the many people health-wise. Well, the same thing's happening financially with inflation eroding our purchasing power. There is a massive need for people to be able to supplement their income. And so we can combine world's finest micronutrients addressing a worldwide problem with what I'm sure we'll talk more about is the simplest, most powerful, rewarding financial opportunity for someone who cares about health and wellness. And I want to be clear about that. Our company is built for people who want to bring health and wellness to others. Mm-hmm. That's what we are built for. And we are the finest opportunity on the planet today, and for those people.
What about the people who think that this is some kind of a get-rich-quick scheme?
Well, people are making a lot of money fast. I don't know what that means, but it's not a scheme. It's about bringing world-class products to people, and those that are really good at it, those who build teams that are good at it, as you, Jonathan, will and do make significant money. But, you know, I believe that in life, when you're excellent, you get excellent rewards. So the beauty of our financial business model, and this was as hard as it was for Dr. Prasad to validate and verify and formulate his products. I'm a financial guy. I've been a businessman my whole career. I went to the Wharton School, graduated in finance from the most prestigious financial or MBA program in the world for finance. And I have brought every tool, every piece of knowledge I have to the table to create what I think is the finest compensation plan in the world to go with the finest products. So what we're offering is not getting rich quick, but what we're offering is that people who are really great at bringing customers and building teams of people bringing customers and bringing health and wellness to the world, there is significant financial opportunity. And the beauty of our plan is its stability. I know, can't tell you how many thousands of people from network marketing, MLM have talked about money they made that they no longer make.
Right.
We're 10 years down the road, and Jonathan, I think your money, your income just seems to keep growing and growing. I can't see it declining. And that's our business model, is true residual income. Our retention rates are through the roof. At 90 days, our retention rates on subscriptions are well over 90%. At 12 months, our retention rates are pushing 70%. Unheard of in the supplement industry. It's because our products work, because our affiliates are informed, our affiliates educate and love their customers and serve them, and people love what we're doing. And when you do that, you have consistency, you have stability, and you have an opportunity for life-changing financial benefits.
Yeah, that's true. And I hope everybody paid attention to just one of those statistics. 90% retention after 90 days, 90% retention at the 90-day mark. That's huge.
But it's usually even higher than that. I mean, we're pushing 95% on that number. So that's we've got the model dialed in. And so just if you want to talk pure business, we've got the business model figured out. It took many years, and honestly, it cost me millions of dollars of trial and error. And I know a lot of people, as a part of that trial and error, it didn't always go well for them. But in that process, we have created something absolutely beautiful and amazing for people who are willing to share and build.
And that's important to know, because I've told folks that if you want to hit the sweet spot when it comes to a business, it's that 5 to 10 year mark.
Yes.
You can find a 10-year-old startup.
Yep.
You have just nailed it.
Well, and you're 100% right, Jonathan. Like when I was in venture capital, my money was always made on those 5 to 10-year-old companies. Getting it started today and making money in 1 or 2 years, that honestly for me never happened.
Right.
Some of my biggest wins were companies were 8, 10, 12 years old. We took one company public, National Information Consortium. We invested in that company. Now today, multi-billion-dollar company, and it took them 8 to 10 years to really get things lined up. But when they did, it exploded. And I could give example after example like that. Engage falls into that category. Our foundation is solid. Our technology is solid. Our supply chains are solid. Our products and formulations are solid. Our quality assurance is solid. We don't miss commissions. We're never late on commissions. Our finances are good. It's like we are a solid company from really, if you want to check all the boxes, we're ready for extraordinary momentum and growth right now.
One of my newest heavy hitter consultants that came on board put his order in, I think, on a Friday, and called me up screaming at me on Tuesday. How is this possible that I got my product?
Yes.
I expected by the end of the week.
And in this world of extraordinary supply chain challenges, I think the longest back orders we've had have been around 2 weeks. So nothing, severe, nothing life-changing. We have great supply chain management, and so it's not that we will never not have back orders, but we've got a process that's pretty good for making sure. And also the other thing is at Engage, our people on subscription are sacred. They always come first because they're the ones that are loyal. They're the ones that are taking care of themselves and committed to the product. So we love the subscription-based business.
I'm telling a lot of the folks in my organization that if you want to stabilize your income, concentrate on just helping one customer at a time.
Yeah.
Could you give us a snapshot of why signing up a customer, preferred customer, why that's so valuable?
Well, it's easy. So let's use this number. So like, I'm going to use an influencer we have. I won't use his name. He's pretty significant. He's making good income at Engage. A customer on subscription to him is worth about $350 in the first year. So 1,000 customers represents
So
about
one
350,000 of revenue. So each customer, yeah, on average.
Hmm.
So it's like, you know, you take the whole
350.
pool. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you take the pool and you look at the income he generates over the course of a year on that customer, this first year, it's about $350.
So 1,000 customers.
Is like $350,000. So, and 10,000 customers with $3.5 million to him. Now think of it, if he's in your organization, what he now means to you in terms of your income opportunity volume, and we can talk about that. But so here's how the model works. It's super simple. We pay 100% of the first order on a subscription. That's a customer signing up for a subscription. I've had people say, Dave, how can you afford to do that?
Yeah, it sounds like you lost your mind.
No, well, it's if you don't understand finance, it does. But if you understand finance, it's the easiest decision in the world. Why wouldn't I invest 100? So the average initial order is around $120. Why wouldn't I invest $120 to generate a $2,000 or $3,000 revenue stream?
That's right.
And because our retention is so high, I mean, we're talking, 90, 95% at 90 days, pushing 70% at 12 months. And then you've got all those years and years afterwards where we have customers, many customers of 5, 6, 7 years.
That's right.
When you have that residual revenue, that's like buying an annuity. So if I can buy an annuity for $120 and then give you all of that, and then even we are willing to share with you a piece of that annuity of 10 to 30%. So we're sharing everything with you, the affiliate, because you are the critical piece to our success. We can have the finest products in the world without you sharing it and bearing testimony and doing the work of integrity like you're doing today, Jonathan. We have nothing. So we're more than willing to share with you these numbers, and they are very, very rewarding for someone who simply wants to make customers. We have many people who are making several $1,000s every single month, residual income, just like having an apartment building, paying them every month. And it's simply customer base that's buying product because they've worked hard at sharing product. So that's a real simple part of the plan. It's something that everybody can do. Here's another beautiful thing. Right now, 1 out of every 2 new Engage affiliates is making money within 90 days or less. So unlike most network marketing where most people never make a dime, 1 out of 2 is making money at Engage in 90 days or less, not like in 10 years. So our business model is winning and working, and we think we can do even better than that. We can even do better than that. And I see a question about why we have a cap on it. The reason we have a cap is because people who are try to manipulate that all of it bonus, jeopardize that all of it bonus for everybody. Our mission is to bring health and wellness to the world, one person at a time. And we know a typical customer, like 95, 98% of our customers do not buy more than $150 of product. So if someone's buying more than that, it's just they're trying to take advantage of the comp plan to the detriment of the financial benefits of all of us. So that's why we've capped the plan. It protects all of us so we can keep paying 100%.
Yeah, we can't bury the company, and everybody needs to understand that if you don't come to the company with integrity, then that creates a problem. The company can't be buried because we all lose.
Exactly. And if someone comes to the company with a lack of integrity, we will invite them to leave our company because we only want high integrity people. As a principle of life and of business, I have learned that the aggravating people who are not operating with integrity cost you 80% of your time and pretty much all of your profit. And so my point of view is we seek only people of integrity. We seek only people who care about health and wellness. We seek only people who care about bringing health and wellness to the world. And those people, we want to reward you in a way unlike any other company will reward you. We want to love you in a way that unlike any other company will love you. We want to partner with you in a way as a family member would partner with you. And those are the people we seek. Those are the people we hunger and pray for every single day. And Jonathan, I think you and our other leadership exemplify the character and the quality of people at Engage. And I am so grateful. What a joy it is to work with good people. Man, I love it. And thank you for you again.
It's just getting started, David. We're just getting started. So we're on the phone. We're working our Rolodex, and it's happening. That's all I got to tell you.
Honestly, I just get chills and I get warm and fuzzies as I think of what you and others are doing. And we are here to serve and work together with all of you to do good things.
I got one more question that I want to ask you before you go back to your to mom,
Okay.
because I get slammed with this question a lot, and I want you to be able to just address it head on,
Yeah.
right out the gate, and I'm gonna get off the screen because I want you to just answer to everybody here right now.
Okay.
Folks are saying every network marketing company, they've been in and out of them. They come, they go, they build up the whole customer base. The company starts making millions of dollars. Everything changes. And all of a sudden you go from 50,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever a month in income to zero because somebody decides to so-called improve the comp plan. So
Sure.
help us to understand what are the chances of you selling this company and walking away and leaving us high and dry?
Well, let's just start with a comp plan question. I've already gone through 5 or 6 years of tweaking comp plan, and I apologize to everybody who's been a part of that painful process. Our comp plan is set in stone. The numbers work. It's viable. It's successful. It's a win-win plan. So on the comp plan, don't worry. We're just going to keep making things better, like our double bonuses and the triple bonuses and all these other opportunities we bring to the table. So comp plan is solid. You can feel confident in its stability, and it's been the way it is for the most better part of, I think, 3 years or so now. So it's solid and it's viable and it's financially responsible. So rest comfortable there. As it relates to David Nemelka, Jonathan, in fact, you asked me this question the other day, like, David, so when you become, multi-$100 million company or whatever you become, what's going to happen to the company and David Nemelka? Most people are looking to sell their businesses, cash out, retire, and sell into the sunset. I'm a different person than that. And if you understand my life, my suffering, my sacrifice, etc., purpose matters a lot to me. I don't believe in retirement. My belief is when you retire, you just open the door to the grave, and I have no interest in that. So the vision that I have for Engage is that Engage will continue to grow, continue to be financially viable, and in doing so, I will have more than enough financial resources that I could ever dream of, as will you and many others. I don't aspire to jets, multiple houses, etc. I've made tens and tens of millions of dollars in my venture capital business. I know what it feels like to make money and have the empty feeling of having a lot of things, multiple houses, multiple cabins, so many things that are the materialistic things of life. They're nice to have, but they are not what gives me and feeds my soul. So what feeds my soul, what gives me motivation, is the idea of building a company and leaving a legacy that will live beyond me and you and everybody else to fulfill our purpose of health and wellness to the world. If we do that, we'll have more than enough money to spend. I'll have more than enough money to spend. That is not my goal, to become ungodly and unrighteously rich. My goal is to become the nurturer, the caretaker of Dr. Prasad and his products, the nurturer and caretaker and visionary of creating a company that can live beyond me and my lifetime. And so this company is not for sale. It won't be for sale. I'm here. I will be here to fight for this company and for you and what we're doing until I can no longer fight. And who amongst us would sell their child? Who amongst us would sell their vision and their purpose in their life? Why would we sell our birthright for a pot of porridge? That's just not in me. That's not who I am. And you said, David, what assurances can you give me? All I can give you is my word of who I am. And that's what our company is being built to become. I am going to personally be in control of this company until I can't be, for whatever reason, and whether it's the grave or whatever. But my vision is to be captain of this ship, master of our destiny together, listening and working and loving and serving and bringing goodness to this world. And how could life be any better than that? Family in business, family in life, joy and purpose in our efforts, unbelievable products that Dr. Prasad has brought. I mean, is there a more beautiful man that you've ever met? Is there a more integrous man that you've ever been introduced to than Dr. Prasad? And I take with great responsibility the challenge to have the same character and integrity as he does. He sets the example and tone for all of us. So there's my answer for you, Jonathan. This is a life's mission. In fact, I think of Corleen, one of our really fantastic leaders. She talks about this is her God mission, her God calling. This is something that is deeper than just business, and that I share that feeling and that commitment.
Well, Mr. David Nemelka, we take you at your word.
Thank you.
And it's a privilege and an honor to be working with you in this company, and I think everybody who's on this meeting now feels a lot better about going forward, and we're not going to stop. So, can I drag you back onto the meeting again in a couple?
100%.
Okay.
Anytime you want me, and I'm willing to stay even for a little longer if you want me a little longer. I don't know what else. Any questions or?
Yeah, I'm going to see if they're okay. Well, good. If I didn't want to keep you from the family. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Let's talk a little bit.
I've got about another 15 minutes. I think that would be fair to my family, so I'm good with that.
Then let's see if there's any questions. Any questions at all about this company, about where it's going, something you don't understand about the products? Corleen, please.
Hello, Corleen.
Corleen is on the legacy team. You're not unmuted yet, Corleen.
Okay, let me try.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Good evening, gentlemen. What a fantastic interview. You know, I am so excited that Catrice and Bruce Johnson reached back to me and said, take this product so that you can just be healthy. And, you know, in 5 months, we were able to just really share with so many people. But the best part is we didn't really talk money. We just reached out to people that we cared about. We reached out to people that had health challenges. And Jonathan, you providing platforms like this, and, you know, other leaders, and all of us coming together and working together and being able to actually call our CEO and talk to him and talk about challenges in the field and, you know, working to correct all of those. For folks that have done network marketing for years, you normally don't get that opportunity.
No.
So when you say this is a sweet spot, oh my goodness, it's the best place to be. And I'm so excited to work with you and Dr. Prasad and David and Jeff Ashby, the Johnsons, everybody. This is such a great place to be. I just wanted to say that. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Corleen. Thank you very much. That's some powerful feedback there, Dave.
Corleen's a great example to all of us. She inspires me every day. I love Corleen. Thank you, Corleen.
Beautiful. Dan Chancellor has a comment or question.
Okay. Hello, Dan.
Good afternoon. Appreciate your commentary. I've been around a lot of CEOs for the last 45 years, being a national security dealer for over 20 years myself, going through the World Trade Center burned down and took me for a ride. But my question is this, being on several fiduciary situations in times past, just tell us what you have in place in case some catastrophic thing happens to you, that the rest of us won't be drugged down through the graveyard with you.
I've got Robin Hansen as our president, and I've got Brenda Hall, who's been with me for pushing 30 years, and those two will carry on the legacy with or without me. And you know, many of you know them, and I know, Jonathan, you know them. They're committed to the same principles. The equity of Engage is in a trust that is managed with people who are committed to the purpose of our business more than the finances of the trust. So I'm very comfortable that our future is in good hands if I pass. But let's pray that that doesn't happen until we've got this company to the next stage of our vision.
Well, we're not wishing any ill will to anybody, but it is what it is. And I just buried my father today and my brother a year ago on 9/11.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Wow.
And
Well,
that is a part of the risks of life and the course of life for sure. But I think we have a plan in place to make sure that Engage can thrive and survive even without me.
Hoorah, my friend. Have a nice day. Thank you,
Thank
John.
you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you. Doris Critter has a question or comment.
Okay.
Kreider.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I just have a question about something that was just said. I am brand new and I ordered my product about 2 weeks ago. I haven't gotten it yet, but it was over it was over $150. But I don't want to seem like I'm somebody that's trying to rock the boat in a kind of way. So I mean, that was a bonus package. So I mean, is that okay? I mean,
That's okay because we still pay commissions on the whole order. We pay $150 in all of it, and then anything over 150, we still pay 20%. So there's still money being made on everything ordered over to 150. And I apologize, you haven't got your product yet. We've just cleaned up all back orders we had on our EMF and our Brain Boost just last week. So you should get that product very soon, I would think.
okay. But what you're saying is that the orders, I guess what I'm trying to understand, we don't have any control over what the bundle packages are. So if they're over 150, there's no problem. But where is there a danger of someone thinking you might be gouging or doing something you shouldn't be doing?
Oh, well, what we've seen in the past, and we've seen fraud in this area, is that people come in and put $300, $400, $500, $600 orders in, trying to get all of it bonuses on that. And then what they do is they order more product than they need. So think about it. If you buy $500 of product and you get, and you work it so you get paid $500, that product's free to you, correct, Doris?
Yeah, it will be.
And if it's free to you, then what people do is they take our products, they know that it's so fantastic and there's people that want it, then they put it on eBay and sell it on eBay at cheap prices. And so that hurts all of us. So we really don't want people buying more product than what they would need in a 1 or 2 month period. And so this is how we help you and help us to minimize the risks of people who are trying to defraud us and hurt our business.
I understand that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome. And those are fantastic questions, and welcome to engage.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. Thank you. Yep. Thank you very much, Doris, for your question. Nicholas has been waving his hands. He's been working very hard as my co-host. Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, I was in the same position as Doris. Just to let you know, I was a little nervous, but they came through with the product and started taking it. 3 days into it, you're going to love it. So just hold on until it gets there. It's on its way.
Thank you, Nicholas. That's great to know. And once again, that we had in the last batch of EMF that was manufactured, we had an issue with supply chain on getting capsules. So we ultimately went with clear capsules because the green ones were not available time. Now we have 8 million green capsules lined up. So there's no worry about the capsules anymore. But that caused a little bit of delay, and we apologize for that. I think it's just a good example in the world we live in. I don't expect super long back orders, but I can't promise they won't happen. So any of you who love the product, just make sure you have an extra bottle on hand no matter what happens. And then you should be just fine. So that's how I would think about it.
Amen on that one. I make sure I've got plenty of bottles. Don't call me, ask me for mine, but I got mine. For sure. Pamela Hill wants to get a question in.
Hello, Pamela.
I signed up Friday night, last Friday, under Dolores Beiersdorf. I met her about a month ago, and she finally convinced me that I needed this product, and so I just kind of plugged my nose, took a deep breath, and jumped in both feet.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
So I have no idea anything about the business or really about, but I am fascinated. I watched Jonathan's recordings on YouTube, and I'm like fascinated by it. So my question is, the best way, because I'm in another consultant business and we host parties and do all of these things, but what is the best way to share this product with someone?
You know, you've got someone in your upline, Jeff and Helen Ashby. I know Dolores personally. Are you in Oregon then? Is that where you live?
No, she moved to Missouri. So
Oh, she moved to Missouri. Oh my goodness, I didn't know she had moved. She's a sweetheart.
I love her.
Yeah, she is a sweetheart. Wow, you've got a fantastic person there for knowledge about product, etc. What I would ask is Jeff and Helen on this call?
No, they went to do another call. They had to go do another meeting.
Jonathan, would you do a favor? Would you take her, note her name real quick, and then
Absolutely.
We're going to have Jeff and Helen Ashby reach out to you, and they are our first ambassadors in Engage, and they can help you understand how to do these parties and how to share product and how to succeed. So I hear in you a hope and a desire to improve your financial as well as physical health, and the Ashbys can help you do that.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even really care about the money. I was like, I am sick of being in pain. I've been in for 10 years, along with depression and gluten sensitivities. And Dolores is like, we can fix that. And I'm like, okay, fix it. So
okay, well, I look forward in 90 days to hearing how you're doing, because Dr. Prasad likes to say 90 days, give the product 90 days and then give us your assessment.
Yeah, I'm excited to share, and I've already started throwing the emails at people. You've got to watch this. You've got to watch this.
Okay, fantastic. Well, why don't I would say definitely talk to the Ashbys. They'll help make sure that you can be as effective as possible in the networks and relationships and people you know, because this business really is not so hard, especially with the perspective I have of you, with your heart and your caring of others, and also of your own personal struggles. You're going to do well. So thank you for raising your hand, and Jonathan will make a note and get that to the Ashbys.
I will make sure that they contact you, Pamela, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And thank you for your comments and your questions and your confidence in the company.
Yeah, thank you.
Bernardine.
Well, first of all, I apologize for my picture not being up there. It's this phone, something with the video, and I'm not even sure what it is. Can you hear me, though?
Yes, we hear you perfectly.
Okay, first of all, David, I want to thank you, because I've been through a number of programs, and the integrity aspect of what you said actually shines through. And a number of my people actually call me up and they thank me for introducing them to a product, a company, and in your case, a CEO that seem to have some integrity. And I think I believe over a period of time you're gonna. I look forward to meeting you one day, by the way, too.
We will. Yes.
Well, anyway, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing on that legacy team, and I'm gonna tell you why. One of the biggest things with companies is that I see is that they don't have an independent group that actually able to express the voice of the people that's out in the field, that's actually looking at people face to face. And sometimes when a company makes so much money, the voice of the people that's making the money means nothing to them, because they're living their dreams. So I want to thank you for that. And the question I really had was about what Dan said, is should something happen to you, what would happen to us? And I think a good example was Herbalife CEO, one of the best guys you could ever meet. But of course, he wound up dying. And the thing that was interesting was that even though he died, his company went through the roof, and I couldn't figure out why. And the reason why was because he surrounded people around him just like he was. And I think because of that, I really, when I saw you, I was with another company. But when I saw you and I heard you and I felt what you were saying, I have to just say, and I'm gonna get off. Thank you for putting this opportunity here. I don't know how far me and my team is going to go, but I just appreciate having at least an opportunity of a company that we don't have to be in one state, one company. We could be all around the world with, so right now the United States, Canada, and Jamaica. But one day I hope we'll be all around the world, and I just hope you keep that vision and realize we're here not because of just Dr. Prasad, because at the end of the day, the captain of the ship can actually sink it if he doesn't have the right mindset. So thank you for giving us a company with integrity, a product that works, scientific validation, and a CEO that truly cares along with your family. And thank your family for me too, because without the support of your family, you wouldn't even be here.
Amen. Thank you. You give me chills and you make my day, as do all of you. So thank you so much for those kind words. And we take very seriously our responsibility to you, for sure. So thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. Valerie Johnson.
Hi, I just wanted to say hello and thank you also, David and Jonathan. Michael Daly changed my life, suffered from fibromyalgia and just pain medications, and that EMF has changed my life. I love it. And but my question about this is, you did mention the supply about the capsules. And my question is simply, I don't swallow the pills because I have a problem with swallowing big pills. So I open them and the color is different. So that's all I wanted to know was, I was just curious as to why the color is different.
Well, and thank you for asking that question. I don't know if we sent an email out, or I know I've read a draft of one that's going out. So our Brain Boost, our Micro Daily EMF both have curcumin, have turmeric in them. And in turmeric, there's curcumin. Harvesting of curcumin, depending on the time of the year, depending on the location, depending on the supplier, the color of orange varies quite a bit. So each batch of EMF, each batch of Brain Boost, you're going to have a different color variation of that orange, and that pretty much colors that whole all of those ingredients when you look at them. So the reason that it's different is because of the variability in the color of curcumin. The iBoost has similar ingredients that that are naturally sourced, and you're going to have variations in color. So we talk about, our products are natural, our products are consistent in quality and such, but they're not. That doesn't apply to the colorations that you're going to see. So there's nothing different in the ingredients. The ingredient panels are the same. They've been tested by third parties to make sure they're the same, and that's something I had to learn early, because after our first batch of Brain Boost, we had the same thing. And I called up our manufacturers. What did you do? Did you use a different ingredient? And I was quite concerned and upset. And after doing a lot of talking and settling down and understanding, I can give you 100% confidence that nothing is different. It's color.
Okay.
It's like a tomato. Some tomatoes are redder than others. It's like a watermelon. Some are redder. They're still got the nutrients that we need for our health.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I'm glad we could address that publicly on this call.
That's very good. Very good. It's when something is natural, you can expect that. No additives being put in the product to make it, the same color. It's just natural.
That's right.
Joanne Washington. Joanne, don't forget to unmute. We'll come back to Joanne. Kathy Malek.
And I think we need to finish with these two questions, Jonathan. It's 5 o'clock and everybody's starting to eat downstairs. So I'm going to finish with these two.
Understood. Go ahead, Kathy. You were unmuted there a second ago. No?
I'm ready, Joanne.
Oh, Joanne is unmuted now. Go ahead, please, Joanne.
Okay. I was just going to comment on the lady that was asking how to present the product. And I think that's really important at this point, because a lot of us are new using the product. So anyway, I think a training is in line to teach us what to do, what to say, that sort of thing. So that was number one. Number two, I was thinking to myself, so I just signed someone up. So if the person signs up to buy the product and it's under $150, is there any residual income off of that?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. You're going to make, and you can look at the compensation plan. It's really simple. Depending on how much volume you have in customers, the minimum you make is 10%. And then as you get more and more customers, we reward you with a higher percentage, and it maxes out at 30%. You're going to get 10 to 30% of every order they make, depending on how many customers and how much volume you have. And that's just in our, that's in our customer, you can see that on the app. It's right there for you to see.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good question.
Yes, it is. And in both cases, there's a really good video called Getting Started that is a good place to start. It's right there in the app also. Okay, one last question, Kathy Milek, are you able to unmute? It seemed like she blipped in and out there. Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me?
We can
have
hear
you,
you now. Go
yes.
ahead, Kathy.
All right. I've used the product now for about 2 months, but I'm interested in the business, but I don't have anybody to connect to show me what to do. I know you mentioned a couple that I don't know where they are. They moved. They're not in Oregon anymore. So is there some way I can find somebody to help me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. All we need to do is just make sure that I'll add you to the list of people that will get back, that Jeff Ashby can get back to, and I will make sure he makes contact with you. Because who invited you to this meeting?
Gosh, I don't know. I just get a
Email, probably an email told you about it, right?
no, a text message.
A text, yeah. So that came from the company. So yeah, so Kathy, Jonathan will make sure he gets someone in touch with you. And anyone that's suffering from or struggling with knowing who to work with, call customer service. We'll get your name and we'll get you in touch with some leaders like Jonathan and the Ashbys and Coraline and so many others that we have that will love and support on you. That's one of the beautiful things about our compensation plan is most direct sales companies have what they call levels. That's where they're called multi-level companies. We don't have levels. We pay leaders on all of the volume in their organization. So a leader is motivated to work with you if you're on the first person in their team or the 10,000th person in the team. They want to work with whoever is going to do work and share product. They're there to help you because not only are they good people, but financially they can win with you winning. So that's one of the unique things of what we do is we love everybody and our plan motivates everybody to work with each other. So it's really a special, it's unique in the world. It's something different than everybody else. And so you'll love that, Kathy.
Oh, I appreciate it. I thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jonathan, I'm going to go. They're calling me. Thank you to everybody. Love you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today with you. And I can't wait for the next time I can join you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. David.
Thank you.
You took a load off my mind.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Awesome sauce.
Thank you.
Awesome sauce, Big Dave.
There you have it, folks. Now, where do you get a chance to have a sit-down chat session with the owner and CEO of a company? And he's willing to come back, so we will have him again. So,
awesome, Jonathan. That is simply.
We're going to bring Robin, the president of the company, on. So we're going to be interviewing him probably by next week or so, depending on when he's available. We'll bring David back in, in a couple of weeks after that. So he's willing to come in and talk, answer questions directly, because there's a lot of things that everybody needs to know. So we're going to make this all available for everyone. And in the future, we were going to do it today, but in future meetings on Sundays, we're going to have a series of breakout rooms. And in those breakout rooms are going to be individuals who can point you in the right direction as far as getting started, no matter where you are in the business, no matter where you are, you'll be able to go into a breakout room and get the kind of training that you're looking for. So a lot of the leaders are collaborating on this so that we can just kind of help one another to make sure that no one gets left behind. So that's our objective going forward. Okay, so we're with you guys, and you don't need to worry about whether or not you're going to get any help one way or the other. But that's going to end our meeting for today. Our meeting's gone quite a bit long, but that was well worth it to be able to have a chance to talk with David Nemelka today. Tuesday night at 7:00. So there's been a change in my meeting schedule for Tuesday night. Tuesday nights at 7:00 on this same Zoom ID and password. Thursdays at 6:00. So Sunday, 5:00. Tuesday, 7:00. Thursday, 6:00. Those are the days that I have meetings throughout the week, and you're more than welcome to come and join those meetings at any time. So yeah, thank you, Nick, for putting it in the or Daryl for putting it in the chat there for us. All right, so everybody can just download that. Thank you guys very much. It's been a real pleasure and a privilege to work with you today, and I will see you then on Tuesday night at 7:00. Oh, and don't forget Lunch and Learn every single day, noon Eastern time. Dr. Roberts has Lunch and Learn at 12:00. It's a 30-minute powerful discussion, and Jeff Ashby, the only ambassador in the company, always supports those calls. Coraline has meetings throughout the week too, so you can also check out that schedule as well. I think her meetings are also on Tuesdays and Thursday. I got to get the schedule for that so we can post that each week also. Anyway, reach out to your upline and they'll tell you how to get in touch with those of the leaders that are doing meetings on a regular basis. Thank you guys very much again. Appreciate your joining and your support.
Thank you. Wonderful meeting.
Jonathan.
Y'all have a good one.
Good program.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Evening, everyone.
Videos available on YouTubeJonathan.com. Videos are available.
Thank you.
Jonathan.
Great job, Jonathan.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Let's go.
Daryl, one of a kind.
I like that. I like that.